Hey fam, how are you? Good night, y'all. Good night, good night. I see my Queen Leandra is here tonight. Good night, Queen. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm super excited that you are here with me tonight. Um, Let me get this started on here really quickly. Welcome, guys. As you guys come in, please do not forget hit the like button. Share this video with anyone that you think would help. Go ahead and share the information out. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And our discussion is tonight, is love enough to save a relationship? In the meantime, I'll go ahead and pose a question here asking, what would you do if the trust is broken, right? Hey girl, hey, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Well, I'll word it that way for now. Done. So I am going live on this platform. Go live. So I'm going live on here. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully this is not too loud on here. Yes. So, guys, great topic tonight. Super excited that you guys took the time out to join me tonight in our discussion. I have quite a few questions to ask tonight, and I'm so excited to have you. Is love enough to save a relationship, right? What do you even do when the trust has been broken and the betrayal is now in place? Like, what do you do in these situations? So definitely have quite a few questions to ask, and I'm very excited that you guys are taking the time to join me tonight. Without further ado, I do have a special guest coming on tonight, and I'm going to introduce him. His name is Tony, and he definitely has experience about love and standing the test of time when it comes to love. So I'm looking forward to hearing you guys thoughts on the topic, and let's jump right into it. Tony, I'm going to bring you on. And for those of you
Hello, thank
guys,
you.
we're actually live on come on up. Let me see, I want to set this up on here to set up the hey Alicia, how are you, my love? Um, I want to set up the panel on here too. Let me see. Guys, welcome Tony. Tony, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Shakur. I appreciate you. Are you working? Okay. Well, we're gonna start the conversation on here and then continue it on. We're on YouTube right now, so we're gonna keep the conversation going. And the first question is love enough to save a relationship? Um, is love enough to save a relationship? Like, what are your thoughts on stuff? What are your thoughts? Tony, do me a favor. Can you join? Are you able to join on TikTok? Are you able to join on TikTok as well?
Not seeing you live yet is what I was looking for. Hang on just a second. Let me double check it.
Really, Shakur? Really? Oh my goodness. Really, Shakur? Hey, Leandra, click the link in my bio on the YouTube so you can join over here on YouTube on the platform over here. That's what you got to do. Get into this YouTube, okay? You can have a conversation right inside the chat. Okay, so I see Tony's over here, so I'll bring him on here so the conversation could flow. Nice. I am loving it. It really does. Saving a relationship takes work. Would you guys agree that saving a relationship takes work? Because I agree. I think that's, but how, hey, Kanita, welcome, Queen. How are you? Welcome. Good night, y'all. Super excited to have you. Absolutely. I'm super excited to have you guys on tonight. Um, uh, probably. Oh, you know what, Tony? Turn down the volume on your iPad. Yeah, I think that would be good. Turn down the
Hang on
volume
just
on
a
that
second.
one. Right. I think that would be good. If you turn on the volume on that one, I think we could
Yep, I'm good. It's off.
okay. Something we're gonna figure out, y'all. We're gonna get this together, okay? Something we're gonna figure out. But first question, is love enough to save a relationship? And someone said saving a relationship takes work, which I totally agree that saving it takes work. But let's dig into that a little bit deeper, right? If saving a relationship takes work, what are some of the things that cause us to even be in a situation like this to begin with, right? The trust has been broken. So if there's no longer trust in a relationship, how are you going to be able to save it? So if you felt like you're being betrayed, how do you save a relationship when you were betrayed? Not feel, when you actually were betrayed. Let's be honest about it. You were actually betrayed. How do you save a relationship like that? No, I would love to hear what are your thoughts on something like that?
You asking me
Go
first,
ahead, Tony.
or are you asking the crew? I would say that in that situation, let's
Okay.
say the damage is done. You have to have two people definitely committed to um, working through it, and that probably takes a professional involved, and it takes a lot of self-reflection and uh, getting your feelings out on the table and discussing them amongst both of you. I think that when love is involved and you're in that circumstance, that if it's a one-time thing, first actions, that yes, you can probably work through it. If it's been continual and it's happened more than once, I don't think so. No, you're fine.
So I agree that professional help is needed, right? And we could dissect this even more and go deeper into something like this. We're getting the professional help. But you said earlier that it does take two people to be involved in something like this to get it going, right? And if both people are willing to put in that work and to put their emotions aside, I feel like that is a great place to start to get the relationship. Yeah. Black Love United, you're in both places. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for coming over and subscribing to the YouTube channel. I can't tell you guys thank you enough. We're grown as a family, we're grown as a community, and it takes a village, right? Um, someone mentioned earlier, let me look in this comment section here, emotional neglect. If they're feeling emotionally neglect, that will contribute to them feeling betrayed in the relationship if they're emotionally neglected. And you guys could let me know what are your thoughts on something like that. That's you that said that, Black Love. Thank you. Um, yes, you did say taking a relationship, saving a relationship takes work, and emotional neglect will be one of the reasons why the relationship broke down, right? But what about the betrayal though? What about the betrayal? What is that breaking point? Like you feel betrayed by someone and you can't see past that betrayal. Like what does that look like for you? Because I could go and I could give my example of my betrayal. And I did look past it. But even though I looked past it, I still was trying, but there wasn't anything there. Because when I got married, maybe like not even a year later, or probably about a year. I know the dates. Um, but the person I was married to had a child born shortly after we were married. And that alone is betrayal.
Hmm.
I felt betrayed. I was devastated. I was hurt, but I was ignoring a lot of these red flags, right? I was ignoring them because I didn't know what red flags were. I was just taught to forgive, right? And you just keep forgiving and you forgive and you forgive. And that's what I was doing for a long time. And I felt betrayed, but I still was willing to work on the relationship, on the marriage, because I'm like, okay, we're married. Let's try to find a way to figure this thing out, right? So I was still willing and ready to continue to work on stuff. But I felt like the guilt that the other person was carrying for what they did was not enough to save the relationship. That guilt that they were carrying, it tore the relationship down. It just constantly, because he kept saying how much um he feels so bad for what he did, felt so bad. And I'm like, okay, but let's get through it. So I was more on the side of willing to work with it, but his conscience, his guilt, his you're laying beside someone, right? You're laying beside someone who is deceiving you. Let's really break it down that way, right? You're laying beside someone daily and you still don't know who you're laying beside. I think that part of it made it scary for me after I started to think about it more. Is that here I go giving you my best, or what I thought was my best, right? And you did something like this, but then it continued. So I really don't know who you are, and I'm laying next to someone who is being dishonest with me. So in a situation like that, what would you do? How do you handle something like that, Tony? Let me know if you have any advice for us, or even helping me to understand what could be done any different in a situation like that, or how would you handle it with that level of betrayal?
I think my reaction right off the top is this the difference between men and women where they set that line. I know that I've been part of other discussions with you where we that men are pretty much you did that, you're out, right? There's like one line. We've seen that in a lot of the males. Um, Not all, but some. That's an underlying. But I do think this is a difference between the male psyche and the woman's psyche, and that a man who is committed and in a loving relationship does have some levels of betrayal or broken trust that he accepts, as long as what I said earlier, as long as you see two people working together as a partnership, which is what a relationship should be. But when it's one-sided like that, you have to say, stop. No, stop. There has to be that point. It took you, let's just say, in your relationship longer than it took me in my relationship to get to that. I think that's just the difference in you and I. I don't think that any of us can say, you know what, Queen, if he did that to you, you have to be done. And you I don't think you can say that to me either. You can as my friend, right? But I mean, in realistic terms, you can't set those boundaries for me. You can help influence them, but you can't set those boundaries. But once again, I think it falls back to the whole thing we talk about in loving yourself. You have to have that love for yourself, that confidence and the value set on what you are. And if you don't, because of insecurities, then that's I think where we go too far, and we've discussed that a little bit in the past as well.
Someone said in the comment section, the betrayal
Okay.
for them is when they start seeing major red flag. Um, but I feel like we ignore the small ones that when they become major red flag, I think it's already, that's because it's escalated and they're no longer hiding them. So I felt like once we ignore the
Mhm.
small ones, because those are tests. Normally when you're with someone who does not have good intentions, right? That's already a start for them showing you that they don't have good intentions. But in order to know how much they'll be able to get away with and how much they'll be able to manipulate you, right? It's small, tiny red flags that they're so subtle and they seem so pure, so innocent, right? And they start off so small, and eventually, the reason that they seem like now they're major red flag is because the band-aid has been taken off, right? There's the mask has fallen off. There's no more pretending because they know they got you locked in exactly where they want you. So there's no need at this point to take baby steps or do small red flags or small little things. No, the small red flags were there, they were evident in the beginning. But I feel like we overlook certain things because we weren't taught red flags versus things that you could compromise on, right? There's things that you could compromise, and there's things that are actually red flag and an early warning sign of manipulation. And those are some of the things that someone said betrayal is a big problem, right? Betrayal is a big problem because you've opened up and share with someone something so vulnerable, something so meaningful. So when someone betray your trust, it's a hard walk to
Yes.
really come back from something like that and to really look at them the way how you did before, because I felt like when you were all in, no walls up, you were pretty receptive of who this person is. Then they showed you a different side to them. Now you have to put walls up and block them and prevent them from coming in so close to you, because now they've tainted the most sacred part of you. And I feel like it's really hard, like, to restore a relationship when you feel betrayed. I feel like that's something that we
It's
really
true.
don't talk about that
Very true.
much. But we beg for the love afterwards, because our first initial reaction, I think, is to just beg for the love. Like, you want to beg for the relationship, you want to beg for the love, you want to be like, let's fix it, let's fix it. But I feel later on, when things start to settle in and you start to really look at how much it continues to happen and how much more you realize that this person intended to do this from the beginning. That's exactly who they are. And I
Especially if you're
think
dealing with
after
a
having those
narcissistic person.
right, because after having those experiences, now we're sitting back and we're looking at it, and it's like, when somebody show you who they are, believe them, right?
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
really goes back to say they were showing you who they were the entire time. You just chose
Mhm.
what red flags you wanted to paint, white or green for that matter. And then now it's a snowball effect, because that's when it becomes, I feel like that's when it becomes a major red flag. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
Agree. I agree with you 100%. Um, and I think the I think the underlying factor here is that want and need for love and companionship. And and what's the old saying? Love is blind, right? I think that when any of us are in love, that we are blind to certain things, whether it's all over with, whatever. We can see where we were like, wow, why did I let that? Wow, why did I let that? Wow, well,
I
that was a
think your
flag. That was a
connection is
flag.
breaking
But
up a bit, Tony.
during that, how about now? Can you hear me now?
It's better.
Okay. I don't know why, because I got solid signal here on both ends. So, um, Where did you lose me?
I just the entire question. Hey, welcome, Queen. How are you? Guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I made it super easy. So it's a link in my bio. Just click on the link and you can join the conversation over on YouTube. Or if you want to come up on the panel on YouTube, let me know. I'll definitely drop the link in so you guys could just come on over and be a part of the conversation. I'll be on here tonight just for an hour. Today was my daughter's graduation, you guys. It was such an amazing day today. I was very emotional this morning. As soon as I got up, the first thing she came and said to me, I just wanted to share this with you guys, right? The moment I opened my eyes, she came and she hugged me and she said, Mommy, you've been so supportive of me. You've been my biggest supporter. Ever since I got to this new school, you've been very supportive of me. And I just wanted you to know that I appreciate you for supporting me and helping me through this school semester. That really touched my heart. It made me feel super special because, as we already know, I have been going through a lot. I've been going through the healing process. I've been going through the healing journey. I've been going through everything, divorce, being separated, being in a separate household with my children and teaching them how to, recover because I wasn't the only one who went through the devastation. My children went through this with me as well too. So we went through this together, and so therefore we have to heal together. So I'm very open, I'm very transparent with my children. I don't hide things from them because I know that they're suffering too, right? They suffering because, remember, they don't have their dad. They grew up knowing their dad. They were in a two-parent household with their dad. So for them now to have to adjust being without him, whether it doesn't matter what he did while he was there, that's not the point. The point is they're children and they want that love from both parents, right? It doesn't matter whether it was toxic or not, or healthy, right? Um, but just knowing that I made that decision, as tough as it was, right? Because they were up here, their anxiety level, their fears, their trauma experiences was at this level, for both children was right here at 100. And the decision that I made to leave was that now I remove myself from the situation. So now they're able to see me heal. They're able to see me become more healthy. They're able to see a better part of me. So instead of their anxiety and fears and trauma and everything that they're going through, right? Insomnia, everything. They were experiencing it just the same, the panic and everything, right? Now it dropped tremendously, right? It's no longer at 100%. It's now possibly at a 50% because now they no longer have that high of both parents being toxic. So when they do interact with their dad, it's dropped. It's now down to just a 50%. And that's a dramatic change. So I know sometimes many of you are in these toxic, unhealthy relationship and you're going through the trauma and you think staying for the children is the best thing to do because you want to save the relationship, right? So your whole point of this is to save the relationship, but you forget that the children are at 100% being unsafe, mentally damaged, going through everything. So you leaving is the best thing that you could do. I'm not promoting divorce. I'm not promoting separation. I'm not promoting not saving the relationship. What I'm saying is that what we're instilling in our children, what we're giving them, is dangerous when we stay in these type of relationship. So I reduce the anxiety, I reduce the toxicity, I reduce everything for my children at least of 50%. Give them an opportunity to experience peace at least at a 50% rate as opposed to being at 100. And I think when we look at it from that perspective, it really, for me, it made so much sense because I wanted to stay to keep the family together, right? um I thought that loving the person a little bit more and giving more love, and it was just love for me, right? I felt like all this love that I thought that I was pouring out into someone was enough, right? To save the relationship. And I did it. I kept doing it repeatedly, but that was my trauma response. That's how I was responding to trauma because I was so traumatized. Hence the title and the topic today, right? We're talking about trauma responses and relationship because it ties in together that sometimes when we're exposed to certain trauma, it makes you want to stay in these relationships. It makes you want to stay. And I did stay for that. But like I said, what I was doing to my children, I was overriding. Yup. I hit the override button. Yes, Leandra, you are absolutely right, Queen. I hit the override button to say, let's do it again. I could endure more pain. I could take more abuse. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Queen, for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was hitting that override button. I said, I want more pain. I want more trauma. I want more abuse. That's what I was doing by staying. But it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave. But when you really start looking at what we're putting into our children and how we're setting them up for the future and we're molding them and shaping them into the future generation of abuse. We're teaching them what to accept for abuse. We're teaching them how to stay in abuse, right? We're teaching them these things. So you might not think that they're paying attention and they're not watching what you're doing. You guys know how transparent I am, how open I am about the things that I do with my children and how I help them through things and help them to understand what they experience. So now they can see things clear. So they know what they went through and they're understanding now. And now they're starting to recognize these behaviors in other people. So I encourage you guys to think hard about what you're doing because sometimes love is not enough. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Love is not enough to stay in a relationship. Love is not enough to endure sufferation. Love is not enough to endure these kind of pain. And let's be mindful. Let's be more thoughtful of what we're doing. So this morning, I know I went off track there for a little bit, but I just wanted to it just warmed my heart so much. My eyes were filled with tears the entire time, and just knowing that I'm standing. And I wanted to share that moment with you guys. So I went live streaming earlier today, so that you guys would be able to see what I was experiencing and to share that moment with you guys, right?
That was
But it
beautiful that you
warmed
did
my
that.
heart. Thank you guys so much for supporting and being there with me because we're creating a family. We're building a family. You might not see it, but like-minded people, we're coming together. You know, we're bonding together. And I feel like the more we continue to uplift and support each other is the more we'll give each other strength to go through what we're going through, to face some of the things. Yes, I felt so accomplished. Yes, Queen Babes, I really felt so accomplished. And knowing that she was so pleased, and for her to wake up thinking about that, you know that she really has been going through it and she's able to see the support. And that's something that I did not get growing up was support. I didn't get that support. So knowing how important it is to me because I didn't get it, I wanted to make sure that was something primary for me. It was one of my priorities to provide that support. And a lot of times when you're in these toxic unhealthy relationships, you're not able to support your children the way they need to be supported because you're so lost. You have lost your identity. You have lost who you are as a person. So you're not able to pour into your children the way they need to be poured into, the way they need to be nurtured and cared for because you're so wrapped up in pleasing this person and giving them all that you've already given them. But both people needs to be equally pouring into their children and pouring into the relationship. So whenever one runs dry or the other one is running low, you can go to that place where you were pouring into and pull from there to fill your cup. To put both people can pull from there to fill their cup, right? And I feel like if it's one-sided, it's not going to work. So I was so happy to see my baby this to see my baby today graduate. and get through this hurdle, this accomplishment. It was such a beautiful thing, and I felt so pleased to be a part of it, to be right there with her for the experience. Of course not, right? Not. Her dad was not there. He didn't call. He didn't say, "Hey, how was your graduation? Are you excited?" Like nothing. Nothing. And I wanted her to experience everything. I can't keep covering everything that was going on behind the scenes, right? I took my
No,
hand off covering everything and I just let everything out, let it be raw. Birthdays, I'm the one buying birthday gifts, putting his name on it, giving them the gift to say, "This is from your dad." So all these
no.
things that I was doing was me enabling. I was an enabler. You gotta stop, guys. And I already know how painful it is, but y'all know how transparent I am about everything because I want you to know that you can do it as well too. I was doing
Absolutely.
it. The list goes on and on and on. Covering for this person while accepting abuse. So think about what you're accepting, what you're covering, what you're tolerating, and why you're doing these things.
Beautiful. Well said. I think the best part of today's experience with you, though, was when she was in line and you were the only one in that whole stadium with the tripod set up and going, and then you told her, "You're on TikTok Live." The look on her face, and all of a sudden fixing she that was wonderful. It was just great.
Thank you. She
She
was
knew you were
looking at
there
her
for her,
friends
no
like,
doubt about it.
yeah, she was like, "Guys, my mommy's," like she was just like really super excited. And what better way than to share it with my TikTok family, right? What better way? Because like I said, you guys have been here with me going through this journey, going through this process. My YouTube family, like we've all became a family, and it's more support than you even can imagine. It's more support from each other than you could just think about. Just knowing that you guys showed up, was just there being so supportive. I couldn't tell you thank you enough. I couldn't tell you thank you enough. I promise you. She's going to be something great in life. She's definitely destined for greatness. And the only thing that I could do is just continue to support her, right? That's the only thing that I could do is continue to support her.
She has an excellent role model.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Brown Eyes, I know you're on, right? And you're supporting the live and everything, Queen Babes, guys. We're doing this both ways. So I know, Kanita, it's really sad. Guys, I'm on my TikTok family. I'm on YouTube as well, streaming on the YouTube platform. I would love for you guys to actually subscribe to the YouTube channel over here so I could really hear you guys. But I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put in my Bluetooth so it's easier for me. So this way we don't get a feedback over here. But I can't tell you guys. So let me tell you, my eyes will fill with tears because I'm like, oh my God, my baby is growing up. She's growing up and she's doing she's doing the best that she can with what she have. And what she have is really her mom. And her mom is here for her despite what other people think or might have to say. She has me, and I'm vulnerable. My kids, I listen. Mommy don't know it all. Mommy's tired today. Mommy needs some rest today. I'm very transparent and honest with them because I don't set them up for failure. That's what I don't do. I'm not going to promise them something I can't deliver. So listen, mommy's tired. I'm not able to do this, but I'll be able to do that. This is what I could do. I can't do this. I can't do that. And when you tell kids, because remember, we're their first superheroes, we're their first role models. They look up to us. So when we disappoint them, they're going out into society looking for disappointment because we're training them and we're doing it at home. But I feel like if we start speaking to them, explaining to them, and talking to them about things, it makes it much different. It makes a difference. Queen Babes, what are your thoughts, my love? I appreciate you. What's the channel name? Okay, the channel is Healing Your Silence. The same spelling, HealnurSilence. Healing Your Silence. And Queen Babes, if you wanted to come on here, I could just send you the link. I could post the link up here, and you could actually come right here on the YouTube channel. This is going to be here for people to see going forward, showing the difference that we're making in each other's lives, right? And the support that we have in case they don't have support systems. So definitely be a part of it. I'm grateful to have you.
She's prettier than I am too, so
Yes, you could switch and come right on over and join the conversation. Um, you're emotionally, mentally, spiritually bleed out after a while. Yes, yes. And I'm gonna show this comment right here. Alicia, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Thanks. Thank you so much, Leandra. I appreciate you, Queen Kanita. Like, guys, you have been there for me. Y'all know how long we've been doing this, right? And I appreciate you guys being here for me. Alicia says you emotionally, mentally, spiritually bleed out after a while. And yes, even physically. I couldn't agree more with that statement. I feel like I totally agree with that statement. Yes, you do bleed out. But you know what? After doing all of this bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, do you now continue to bleed on someone else that did not cut you?
say
Or
that
do you
again,
work on?
please.
So I'm saying, yes, I agree with the statement that Alicia just said. She said you emotionally, mentally, spiritually bleed out after a while. And yes, even physically bleed out, right? But my question to this is, why would you bleed on someone who did not cut you?
Wow. I don't think that you would do it purposely, and it is if you're referring to this as, like you with your children, am I correct in that? Or are you saying with somebody else?
What I'm saying is not necessarily like in like, okay, so say for example, okay, you go into a new relationship, and I think I just post the link. I'm hoping that it comes up as a link. I just post the link in the chat if anyone wants to be invited to come up on here, because I know we do it a lot on TikTok, and sometimes it could be a little challenging going between screens, right? Because I'm eventually gonna go over there in a few, but just in case, I put the link in here. Um so what I meant by that is, yes, you're gonna bleed out after a while. Yes, you're gonna have some emotional pains and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
But why would you bleed out on someone who did not cut you? So, say for example, I'm in a new relationship, okay? Now I'm holding you responsible for all the pain, the emotional wreck, the mental wreck, the spiritual wreck, the physical wreck that I went through before. Here I am now holding you responsible for it. I'm bleeding out on you, for the trauma, for the lack of everything that I went through as a child, childhood traumas, all these things. I'm now pouring this onto you. So my question is, why would you bleed onto someone who did not cut you? And what I'm saying is, why not take the time to heal? Do the work part of it.
Uh,
Stop it.
neon less. But if you've sought out a partner, a relationship, friendship, however you want to say it, and you're bleeding that to help them understand and they're supporting you, they're helping you the best that they can, then I get it. And it's a beautiful thing. You're just
You're
going into
freezing up
something
a
to
lot
pour it
on
out
here. I don't understand your
and carry
the
them
thing, your
along.
connection. It's freezing up on the
It's
screen. I don't know
freezing up.
why. Yeah, it's freezing up on the screen. I don't know why though. It's freezing up a bit. I know Brown Eyes said she wanted to talk. Brown Eyes, did you want to come over on YouTube to talk? Because I know the audience over here would not be able to hear you from TikTok because everyone is kind of home based. Oh, you thought it was you? No, Jay. It's been like that since we started. I think the storm, because they had a storm in Florida. Tony's in Florida, so they had a storm there yesterday because he was even on the live stream last night and it was messing up a bit. So I feel like the connection is coming back slowly, but it's lagging a bit. So no, it's not you guys. And I thank you guys so much for being patient with us. We're all getting comfortable with technology, okay? So I appreciate you guys being so patient with us as we get through this. Just wanted to touch on this topic really quick tonight for about an hour on YouTube, and then we'll definitely move things right along to TikTok because I feel like there's different ways how to share the topic and dissect a little bit more here there and break it down a little bit so the interaction can flow easily. So guys, if same channel on TikTok and on YouTube, so you can find me either places. And sometimes the discussion, and I'm listen, if you guys have not already followed me on TikTok, please, I'm asking you to do so, and I'll tell you why. I go live on TikTok Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday nights at 8 o'clock. And while I'm going live, I'm telling you, you have so many different people that comes up in the panel and they share their thoughts, they share wisdom, they help you to get through different processes. So if you really need a community, a support system, please take the opportunity. If you want one-on-one session with me, then that's completely separate, right? That's where the charge comes in. But this is totally free when we get together Tuesday night live, Thursday and Friday. We get together and we have these discussion and we going deeper. Nikki's gonna come up. I'm gonna invite Nikki to come up so she could share and give her thoughts on this topic as well too. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring up Nikki. You are live, Nikki. Go ahead. Go ahead. You are live.
Hello,
Welcome.
everybody. I'm sorry, I'm still at work, but the question was, I mean, for me, I think because when we get in these other relationships, we're still not healing. So we think we're healed, but we're not. You have to do the work. I can't stress it enough how you have to do the work because it's not fair to that other person. You can cause detrimental to that other person if you don't get the healing. Because when they get in a relationship, they're ready for that commitment. They're ready to love. They're ready to give themselves. But if you're not ready to get that, you can really hurt that person and cause some type of trauma and more hurt to them and more to yourself. So it's not fair to them to do that. I would recommend anybody do the work for you first. Don't hurt nobody else because somebody hurt you. It's not right and it's not fair to them at all. Um, that's why I know for me, I had to do the work first before I even thought about getting a relationship. It's okay to be by yourself. I love going out to dates and movies by myself, do things for me. So it's okay to do you first, but don't ever hurt somebody else.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, Nikki. And it tied into the statement that you made earlier, Alicia. So that's why Nikki wanted to come on to agree with that, say yes, you can bleed out and stuff like that. It happens, and that's so true. And
Hmm.
I appreciate the transparency because it's so easy to do it, to bleed out on somebody that did not cut you, and if you think about it, a lot of times, think about what happened with you with the narcissist, right? Think about the narcissistic relationship that you had with this toxic narcissistic person. They were bleeding out on you and you did not cut them. So you were held responsible for a lot of the traumas, for a lot of the relationship, for a lot of the lack of relationship and love and nurturing. Okay, I see you, Queen B. Okay, go ahead, get set up and come on over, Queen. Yes. I see like a lot of the toxic, unhealthy relationship that we experience with the narcissist, right? It really poured into you. So you became responsible. You had to take on nurturing them in a different way because, yes, you do need to have care and concern and nurturing in a relationship, woman to men, right? But I feel like when it's your job, I think that's where it changes everything when it's now your job and it's not more of a support system and a partnership. So now they're holding you responsible for all the pain that they went through. They're holding you responsible for all the abuse that they went through. They're holding you responsible for everything that they went through because they have not done the work. You didn't cut them, so why are they bleeding out on you? So yes, that statement goes both ways, and I totally agree with it 100% that it's unfair for you to sit there and bleed out onto somebody that had nothing to do with that hurt. Can there be opportunities where you've done some work, that person has done some work, and you guys are able to meet each other at some point? So now you guys could grow together? Could believe in that. So it's not you bleeding out, but
Mm-hmm.
now you guys are healing together. You guys are growing together. I feel like that is something more doable as opposed to you just dumping everything on somebody else. Because guess what? You still ain't do the work. You still ain't healed. Ain't nothing took
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had another
Agree.
question.
Agree very much.
I had another question. So go ahead.
You and I out, but TikTok is not.
Say that again.
So looking at the studio that we're in for the YouTube, and I'm seeing you and I go black. In other words, like we're losing the connection. That's not happening on TikTok. It's staying
I
solid
know.
all the way through.
Right. That's because the
Yeah.
connection here, that's what it is. The connection here is a little bit off. If you notice the connection, and I think
Okay.
something along the way here with the connection. I had another question that I wrote down in our description for tonight. So it sounds like we're agreeing that love is not enough, right? To
No,
save a
it's not.
relationship, then, right?
No, it's not. It is not enough.
Hold on. I have another question that I wrote.
Person.
Um How do you move on was one of the question, or what does forgiveness look like? Okay, yeah, that was the last question. So I wanted to just touch on that to ask, what does forgiveness look like for you? Because everybody deal with forgiveness different, right? So my last question, okay, Nikki's back. Okay, my last question is, it's okay, Nikki. I wasn't sure if you were ready to come back up, Queen. My last question, guys, before we wrap this up, and let me read Kanita's comment because I told you guys I wasn't gonna stay on here pretty long tonight, just an hour, just an hour tonight. That's really what it is. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was burnt out with my children. I'm gonna be honest with you, but having these discussion is so helpful. It helps me, so I had to, okay. I had to. I couldn't break contract, okay. When you're a chosen one, these demons see it. Yes, I agree with this statement completely. I agree with this statement, right? They see it, and I just ordered some food, and this chick behind me cut me off. Let me tell you something. I gotta always give Kanita a shout out, guys. Kanita has been rocking with me for such a long time, okay? So, Kanita, I appreciate you, Queen. She's driving, going here. It don't matter what she's doing. She's gonna turn that camera on and log that YouTube. She's gonna log in so she can let you know I'm in the audience. I'm here. I'm supporting you, and I got you. And I can't tell you thank you enough. So I know you're gonna show up. So what excuse do I have, right? But to show up as well too. And if I'm not gonna be able, the respect the respectful thing to do is to let you guys know ahead of time what is it going to be. Are we rescheduling or what's going on? But I feel like dissecting and going into these conversations is super healthy. And my last question for tonight would be what does forgiveness look like for you? And I think we could all kind of touch on that. And once we answer this question, I'm going to move it right over to TikTok because I know everyone. Here goes Queen Babes. She came right on over just in time. So I'm going to pull up Queen Babes so she could let me know her perspective on a few things before we move into our last question on YouTube, and then we'll just kind of wrap the night. And I'm telling you guys, join the conversation on TikTok if you haven't already. We will go sometime into the AM. Okay. Sometimes the lives we start at maybe like 8 o'clock, and sometimes 1, 2 o'clock we are still on live. Last Friday, I didn't get off till 5 a.m. So guys, after we did our YouTube last week, we were still on TikTok until 5 a.m. Okay. And lives were changing. People were crying. People were breaking down. People were so grateful at the opportunity to know that they have such a safe space to be able to be vulnerable, be themselves, and not be judged. So just so you guys know, you are in great hands and surrounded by great people like yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Queen Babes so she can let you know what's her thoughts on these topics. Join our conversation again, guys. Afterwards, we're doing the after party on TikTok then, right? Welcome, Queen Babes.
Oh
Welcome.
my
I don't know
gosh.
if you met
Hi.
Tony already. You know Tony, right?
I know Tony. Can y'all hear me?
We can
Can
hear
y'all hear me?
you.
Yes, Queen Babes, you never
We
look
can
at your
see you
DMs.
just fine, and we can hear you just well.
Okay, I'm
Nikki,
learning.
did you want to come back up? Did you want to stay up, Nikki? Okay, I'm bringing you up now. There goes. Okay, so we're all up. Conversation. Let's get it, guys. Go ahead.
Okay, so I am not very tech savvy across all of these different devices. I went to my phone, I switched to the iPad, I went to my laptop, and I was like, yeah, I got to figure this out. But what I wanted to say, and I hope I'm not too off topic because I was trying to do this and still listen in. First, I want to commend you for making that difficult decision, because when you make a decision to like step away from everything that you know and everything that you know to be true from what you were taught, you don't know what's out there, ahead of you. And it's so difficult. I left home with my three children when I was about 27. And I did it all by myself, joined the military, and I've made it 15 years. It's just been me and my babies. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to venture into. So, listening to your story of how your daughter, um, you know, gave you those words of appreciation, like I know exactly how you felt in that moment, because back then you probably didn't know what that avenue was going to look like. And even though you made it through all the challenges and stuff, when you hear that thank you, or when you reach that major milestone, it's just like, dang, girl, we did it. We rocked this, and it's such a proud moment, and I'm so happy for you. Congratulations to your baby. So I wanted to say
Thank
that.
you.
Um, as far as I'm trying to think, you may have to help me with some of your other questions or where we are right
It's
now.
fine. Is love enough to save a relationship, right? That was one of the questions. If you're
Okay,
comfortable answering that one, you could take it on. If not, the other question is, how do you move on after the trust has been broken? So after experiencing betrayal. So that's the nature of where we are with our discussion. So you
okay,
could tackle it from any angle you feel comfortable, where you know you can excel in that conversation. Take it how you want to.
I got you. Okay, so first, is love enough I don't think it is. Absolutely not. Because once that nostalgic feeling, when we think of love, we think of nostalgia, right? We think of, butterflies and rainbows and everything is all like peaches and cream and it's all lovey dovey. And then when you hit that moment of this is the reality of the responsibility of a relationship. See, when we look at love, we just look at the union of two people and everything is so great. But what we don't realize that what comes along with that love is the responsibility of a relationship, of a union, of being able to, you know, have compassion for somebody or be responsible for somebody else, right? Um, and so that love word, you can do all those things because I love you, right? Because we're not just going to give that to anybody. But at the same time, there's still, I think, a whole angle of responsibility that comes with that term. So, no, it's not enough. How do you move on once the trust has been broken, infidelity or whatever, whatever way that trust came? It's one of those I feel like you have to understand, I guess, the severity of it, right? Um, where is this going to take the dynamic of our relationship? How detrimental is this going to be to the foundation of what we're building? Um, how far off course is this going to take us? Are we still going to reach our destination? So I think there's a lot of things to consider with that, right? Um, I feel like it's very easy to lose trust, but it's very hard to keep it. Because that's something that you constantly have to work on because you always have to be conscious of the person that you are actually with. But I feel like along with trust, that comes with a loyalty to self. So if you can do anything that easily that would allow me, or if I can do something that easily that will allow somebody else to lose their trust in me, that means my loyalty to myself is off. So how can I expect someone to
Hmm.
trust me? you know so now how do I get that back, or how do they get that back? You got to show me that you're not doing this in order for you to win me over, and I'm not doing this for me to win you over, right? I'm doing this because I have to get myself back aligned. I got to get myself back right, because I can come to you and say, hey, I'm going to stay at the house. I'm not going out. I'm going to call you all the time. And I speak both ways because I know this happens to men and women. Um, but I can do all those things, right? But if I still have the freedom to do it and I don't fix myself, all I'm going to do is be smarter about not getting caught the next time.
That part.
You see what I'm saying?
That part right there. And let's be honest, that's really
Right.
what they do when you're with somebody who is deceptive, right? When you're with somebody like that, all they're doing is studying you. You are the project.
Yeah.
They're studying you and monitoring all your behaviors to see how can I not get caught the next time.
Mhm.
So because I've really experienced that, I don't try to tell nobody the blueprint, the script of anything that I'm doing. No, go about it that way. Show me who you are. And
Right.
I'm gonna show you who I am too. So it's not like I'm holding back because I can't not show you who I am, but show me who you are. And once I get to know who you are,
Right.
guess what? I'm going to accept you for who you are. I'm not going to try to change you because once I know who you are, then I'm making an informed decision to accept you for who you are and not who I want you to be. And when we look at things from those perspectives, we really start to see what are some of the things that we were sweeping under the rug? What are some of the red flags that we weren't really paying attention to? Because
Yeah.
now there's nobody forcing anything on you, but instead giving you an opportunity to make an informed decision based on the information that you do have. So I totally agree with you about them just outsmarting you. Because when you start telling somebody that, hey, caught you doing this, you're basically putting them on game, telling them that, hey, you slipping. That's all you really doing is telling them like, yo, you slipping.
Right.
You need to tighten up. Like you messing up a little bit. Like tighten up a little bit because you about to get caught, right?
Right.
And I feel like we do that too much when we get so emotional, especially as women. We get so emotional with the fact that why you didn't call me, why you didn't do this, and so emotional. Why?
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to, they would. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to, oh, I know you calling this person. I know that's insecurity. You're not secure.
Mm-hmm.
Because secure people do not operate like that. And once you start giving a man that, he already know that he got you at a certain place.
Right.
And all he got to do is just keep you right along that trail. That's all. It's a done deal. So
Right.
think about what you're putting out, what you're giving, and why you're getting back what you're getting back from a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brown eyes, how about you? You can still talk or whatever. I just know Brown Eyes was kind of in the back for a little bit and she working. So I want to know when she got a quick moment to kind of squeeze in there for a little bit. And listen, thank you. Thank you guys. I know we do this on TikTok and we're bringing some of it over here on YouTube, right? And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys' time and effort and taking the time. The time, you can't get back time, but to share your knowledge, to share your experience, and to leave wisdom on the table so that someone can touch the replay button at a later time and see that they're not in this alone and there is support, there is help out here. Thank you guys for sharing with me, with our community, us as a family. Thank you guys again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me? Cause I'm outside.
Yes, we can
We
hear
can
you.
hear
This is
you.
the first time
Oh,
I've ever
okay.
seen Brown Eyes. This is a nice venue.
Yeah.
I don't pull brown eyes into the camera.
Work in progress. Work in progress. Um, I'm sorry. What was the second part of the question again?
No, it's just if you wanted to add anything to what we've been saying before. Just to know if you wanted to add anything, just to leave anything there. I know I had asked a last question. What does forgiveness look like for you? That was the last question. So we could really take a shot at it to see like what forgiveness look like for you. If you want to talk about it, what it looked like then versus now, whatever way how you feel best to explain it for you, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Back then, I couldn't forgive nobody. Didn't want to be bothered with nobody. I hated men. I hated myself. I just hated people. Period. Because of all the stuff I went through. But now, with all the counseling and help, it is totally different for me. I can honestly say I love me. I don't cuss people out no more. Lord help us. I used to. Whew, you look at me the wrong way, I'm cussing you out. But it was a lot of work, a lot of healing, a lot of counseling. I definitely had to get some counseling because I knew that's what I needed. When a man complimented me about a scarf and I cussed him out, something was wrong. And he told me all I did was compliment your scarf. I knew I needed help. So I had to learn to forgive, not just um, the people that hurt me, but I had to learn to forgive myself. Stop beating myself up because of the stuff I went through. And being a single mom, um, I had to relate to other mothers. Sometimes you don't have that motherly instinct, and I felt bad because I didn't have that. I used to beat myself up, cry about it, but it was something I had to work on, and the guy had to show me it's okay because you never had a mother's love. So sometimes we're not born with that instant motherly instinct on loving on our children and doing this. I had to learn that, and it's hard to say. It's sad, but at the same time, it's a good thing because there's other mothers I found out went through the same thing as me. So now I don't beat myself up no more. I love on my kids, you know, the way that I can show them how I love them. And to be honest, I've never been seeing my kids so appreciative. Always tell me, Mom, we love you and we thank you for what you're doing. I don't have to prove by buying. They see the genuine me, the stuff I went through, the raw, real me, and I'm not afraid to show it to them. So I'm grateful for that. So that forgiveness went a long way for me, and I really had to work on it and get it for myself in order for me to be the better mother that I am, and to be a good woman, and work on me for that next relationship. So yeah, it really helped me a lot.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and I feel like many of us could relate to that. I feel like a lot of us could relate to that part of stuff. I never got to the part of hating men because I still believe in love. Even though I went through the pain of everything, I still believe in love. So I never got to that stage of hating men or even bashing them. I never got to that stage. I just knew that I was with someone who took advantage of me. You know, I was fully aware of that somebody took advantage of me. That's something I felt like it was wrong, but I was happy that at the point when I learned that that's what was taking place, that it was right when I learned how to start healing. So I just jumped right into the healing process, the healing part of things, because it was just that I didn't get no room to build hate against men. I didn't get no opportunity to do that because I was just fighting for something that was gone. But my kids was a big distraction for me, right? They were definitely a big distraction for me because they needed me. So I couldn't go under. They're so small, you know, my kids are 8 and 11. They're small. I couldn't go under. So I didn't even know myself, but I know I needed to be stronger. It's okay, love. I know you lost sound. It's okay. It's okay if you're able to come back up. You could get the link and just come right back in. If you want, I could post back the link in the chat. I was able to. I think I just posted it. If you want to come back up, Queen. I was able to now go through the process, go through the healing process, go through the healing journey because I knew what I believed in. Every day I thought about what I believe in, what I want. I That was on my mind, even though I wasn't getting it. I still knew what I believed in. I still knew what I wanted to experience. I still know what I believe in, and I hold on to that fairy tale kind of life, if that's what you call it, right? Hopeless romantic. I still hold on to it because I believe in it. But I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. If it hit me in the face, I don't know if I'll recognize it though. If it hit me in the face, I don't know if I'll be able to recognize it. Because after
You
you've
will.
gone through so much toxic relationship and unhealthy relationship and being so masculine and being in that fearful mode, you gotta come down off of that. You can't continue like that. So forgiveness is important. It's extremely important that you forgive the person who have hurt you and hold on to your dreams, hold on to your desires because that's what's going to help you. So the forgiveness is not for the other person. Still believe in what you believe in. Still go after what you wanted to because that's what's going to help you to move forward. I encourage you guys who have already felt like how Nikki, and I'm happy for your honesty because right how you was feeling it was. And you're honest about it that you
Hmm.
felt that way because rightfully so you were hurt by someone. So you felt that kind of way. But that was one person, right? And a lot of times we use one person to judge all, and we're very skeptical about other people without giving them a chance because of fear. We're holding on to fear. And when you hold on to something, you block something else. So the work, again, it goes back to healing, it goes back to doing the work, it goes back to having that vision, having that dream. Write it down, make it plain. What do you want that relationship to look like? What do you want that lifestyle to look like? Write it down so you could know what is it that you desire, so when you have it, you know how to appreciate it and cherish it. Tony,
Yes.
you could what does forgiveness look like for you?
Forgiveness for me. And by the way, when we go to TikTok, Um,
Hey,
um,
look at it freezing. It froze just now. You said, by the way, when we get to TikTok, and you were frozen.
I'm.
I think you're gonna have to
Let's
type
put it
it.
this
We
way.
could translate it.
I'm gonna be. What the heck is? Oh, I'm going to be very transparent when we get to TikTok, and I need all of your advice and input. How's that? So don't let this.
So tell you what, you're freezing up, and I don't want you
It's
to
a
look
tough
bad
one.
in front
Am
of
I?
everybody. Okay, you're freezing up, so I'm gonna save you that. Okay, I'm gonna save you that because I'm gonna protect my people. So if you're not looking good out here in these streets, I'm gonna make sure I protect you. Okay, Tony. So without further ado, guys,
I
I
thought I
appreciate
always
you
look
guys.
good. I thought I always look good.
I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight, giving love, sharing love, and letting us grow together as a community. Thanks for your input, your honesty. It always works. It always worked because we're all going through it. We went through it, right? We all experienced something. Mine was forgiving and keep forgiving and keep forgiving and taking that person back, taking that person back. But at what point, you got to learn forgiveness is not for you to take them back. It's not for them. Forgiveness is for you. So
Right.
until you realize that forgiveness is for you, you stop overextending yourself to be damaged beyond repair.
Right.
Or am I freezing
Guys,
up?
Right. He's freezing up again.
All right. We'll wait until we get to TikTok because
we're
I have
heading there
something very
right now,
important to say.
guys. Join the conversation. Join the conversation. It is freezing up. Tony, I'm gonna pull you down because I promise you, you are frozen over here. Okay. You
Right.
are frozen, Tony. Um, Queen Babes, we had one last topic question. Is what does forgiveness look like for you? I'm not sure if you were in the comment section to hear what we said earlier or what we spoke about, but you could just take it right from there and answer the question, and we'll just hop right over to TikTok to continue the after party, right?
Okay, I got you. And I'm gonna get all my tech stuff set up. That way, next time I come on. So I wasn't prepared today. I wasn't prepared. Um, but what does forgiveness look like? That's always a hard one for me, and I honestly don't know if I have a direct answer. Um, so I guess I'll just have to speak towards a personal journey. Um, I think that it was when I could talk about the situation and keep my emotions under control. Um, I could communicate um, to understand as opposed to being so hurt by whatever happened. Um, so I don't know if it was still forgiveness at that moment, but I guess I would say your healing would have to do a little bit with that. Because, a lot of people say, oh, I'll forgive, but I'm never forgetting. Like, I understand that, but I still feel like that holds such a negative connotation to it, although I do understand it. But I still feel like you're holding on the negative parts of that, as opposed to being like, okay, I understood how this situation happened, right? I may not agree with how it happened or why it happened, but at least I know I can look at it from a different lens. So I don't know if that would be forgiveness at that time or not. I would just say that it it's definitely a moment of peace from the situation, where you can actually release the trauma. It may not be now. I will say, okay, now that I've seen a certain side of you, it's not that I know what to expect, but I know how I'm going to handle it. I know whether or not I'm going to accept you as that person or I'm not going to accept you. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'll forgive you, but I'm going to cut you off and I ain't got nothing else to do with you. To me, I still feel like you're not really I don't really feel like that's forgiveness. It's like, no, the distance myself so I don't have to deal with it.
but now you still have this thing with you as opposed to allowing yourself to work yourself through it. So I don't know if that answers the question or not, but I just know in my own healing journey, I'm having to think about those traumatic situations and all that stuff that I brought with me. And what I thought was forgiveness was always, oh, I forgive you. You know, you did what you did. You are who you are, but I'm not fooling with you anymore. And so,
So it's more like that dismissing it then. It's almost like out of sight,
right,
out of mind until it
right.
comes back around, then I'll deal with it when it comes around. And
Hmm.
you're right. I think we use words. We tell ourselves certain things in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's what causes us to experience different triggers, right?
Hmm.
Because now we never really dealt with it. We didn't really process it. We didn't really go through it and understand why something took place. I think once we go through the whys, then we'll be able to accept more why something took place and we can accept it for what it is and be able to move on. So a lot of times it'd be like, oh, I forgive you, but I ain't gonna forget what you did to me. You're still holding on to it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. I
still
feel the same.
has it has weight on you somehow. Like it controls you somehow. You might not think it does because you're dismissing it and you're just pushing it to the side. Shalom, Queen. Um, you're dismissing it and pushing it to the side. But I feel like when you really accept it, go into it, work on it, face it,
Hmm.
yeah, you get a hang of it and start to release the trauma of it. Because remember, we associate trauma with an experience. And once you
Right.
put them two together, we now attach that thing to a thing. So some people might be in a romantic relationship where they love someone and had traumatic experience. So all of a sudden now they're like, oh, I'm never loving again. I don't want to love nobody, but love did not hurt you. The person pretending to love you did not love. So now you're associating that traumatic experience to love when it's not love.
Right. Right. And I think we block ourselves with that. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, forgive the situation. Forgiving is not for them, it's for you. But I don't think we are completely taught what forgiveness looks like. We're not taught what that means. What does that look like? Like what are the steps to, like you said, that was a great question. What are the steps to forgiveness? Like how do you forgive? And I just know, like, for example, with my mom and I didn't necessarily have a great bond growing up. But it wasn't until, and this literally happened
You saw
yesterday.
wait, did you saw Nikki eyes just now? Did you see that? Because girl, you missed the
Listen,
discussion last night, okay?
so all right, so I got to hit you up so you can give me the times and everything. Or as a matter of fact, go on and put your plug in so we can be coming here, have these
Let me
discussions.
tell it was on TikTok last night. You meant that was we talk about foster parents,
Hmm.
neglect, abandonment, gaslighted. Like we went into it last night.
Yeah,
And these are some of the conversation that we need to have and be honest with ourselves because it's a part of our healing. And some people are afraid to have these conversations with their mothers
yeah.
because they feel like I owe you something.
Hmm.
You know, so that's where we were with the topic last night. And I'm telling you, it opened up a lot of
Oh
avenues
my
for
God.
more discussion.
Yes. Yes, I feel you. I mean, that was a conversation I had with my mom because after I had my own children, everything, and I even told her this last night. Every decision I made was to make sure I didn't make the same decision she made. And I told her, even though my children are older and we've gotten this far and we're doing really good, I said there's still some things that I just don't understand. Like I let it go and forgave you, but I just chalked it up to that's just who you are and how you are, and you get to live your life. But I asked her, I said, but I don't understand it. I said, I just still don't know what I don't know. I don't know why I don't understand it, right? I've just made my peace with it and I moved on. So that's what, to me, I thought forgiveness was. What I found out was that although I already knew my mom was one of 11 children, I was thinking that, okay, she's already fighting for attention from her father, right? Because there's so many children. But what I didn't know is all 11 children weren't in the house at the same time. So by the time the older ones got out the house, she was one of the younger ones coming up. So I didn't know that my mom never really established a true relationship with her older sisters. So her combativeness, or she's very competitive when it comes to other females, and that bled into my bond with my own mother because of the relationship that she was never able to establish with her own sisters. And now, mind you, my mom and her brothers and sisters have the same mom and the same dad. So how is it that you've got one family and you don't even know each other? But that's because you raised in the South. Once you got older, you moved north to work. So they weren't around when she was coming up, right? So they never really established that bond. And then everybody grew up, got married, separated, lived their lives, got divorced, had kids, did all these other things. But I also didn't know that one of my mom's, the love of her life before she met my dad, I knew he passed away in a car wreck. I didn't know she still held and carried that pain till today. And she said, I loved him so much. She said that every man after that, I was looking for his love because I wanted my father's attention and love, which my father was one of those honorable, upstanding, fathers, my grandfather. She said, but because he always had to make sure he was out working to take care of the family, there was only so many times I was able to spend time with him. So I'm sitting up here like, dang, I'm just thinking you codependent and you just like attention hungry and you just want all of it's everything's got to be about you. But it was because she never experienced it. She never got it. So even though she loved us, but when we came along, it was almost putting her back in that same situation of now I have to fight for the attention of somebody I love. So when you go back and really have the conversation to understand it or get yourself to a place where you can understand it, like I had to tell her, okay, this is a lot to process. You got to give me a minute. I need a minute. But um, when you get yourself to a place to where you can actually have the conversation, I don't know that I would have ever understood it had I just been like, I'm just going to accept you for who you are. It's all good. I can't punish you because it's not my place to. I'm just going to move on with my life. There was still that hole. So I think
I
forgiveness
respect
is
you for
getting,
doing that. I must tell you, listening to you and hearing you, you broke it down what forgiveness look like, but you really broke it down in a way where you're letting everybody know the why.
hmm
Get to the why. Don't just suppress it and talk about, oh, it is what it is. I see you over there. I accept you for who you are. Like, get to the why. And that's what you did. And you got so much why
hmm
that you couldn't process everything, but it gave you understanding to let you look at things and view it from a different perspective, which that's
right,
what you need in order to heal, in order to forgive, in order to move on, in order to have a free spirit and not to have it lingering somewhere for a trigger later on. You
right,
gave it that, and I commend you for doing that, even though you have a lot to dissect and a lot to
yeah,
process. She gave you, and that most parents wouldn't give you what you were asking for.
yeah,
Not a lot. So
I
you have a
did,
lot to
yeah,
work on and you have a lot to process, but you got it though. You got it.
yeah,
You got what many people are still hoping to get or never got because it was too late.
that's true. That is true.
So I appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability, and for you sharing to let others know that a lot of times the baggage that we're carrying, we're bringing these baggage into new relationship,
Yeah,
and that's an exercise we did last night on TikTok. We took one item that's in that baggage that we're carrying, right, and
hmm
toss it into the ocean.
hmm
I encourage everybody, grab something out of that baggage that you're carrying and dispose of it. Whatever is in that baggage, it's a lot of things because we all have things in our baggage carrying. Just take one thing. If you could donate one thing and toss it to the bottom of the ocean, what would it be and why? Do that exercise on your own and see that that's something that you're now processing as a healing activity. It's
Yeah.
something that you're working on and get through it. And you'd be surprised to know some people said fear.
Hmm.
Fear is a major baggage because fear will block you. It will prevent you from loving somebody the way you need to love them or how you want to love them because you're afraid they're going to leave again.
Right.
You're afraid, but then that's like you said, codependency. That's
Hmm.
neglect. She never loved anyone like how she loved that person because now he left. So
Hmm.
now she's associating with loving somebody as somebody leaving. So she never really opened up to love them the way that she did with this person because they left,
Right.
right?
Right.
Unfortunately,
Right.
how it happened. But remember, and these are some of the things that once we start to process them, it helps us to understand the whys behind
Right.
everything
Yeah.
and what we're
I,
going to dump and dispose of. It helps us to process those whys. And I commend you for taking those steps and sharing with us as well, too.
yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like, and it's just so amazing how God aligns you with people and the confirmation that comes from it. Um, because you feel like you're not qualified for something until you've completed it, right? You feel like, oh gosh, I gotta plug my phone up now. You feel like you're not really
Don't worry,
qualified to talk about.
we're getting off of here in 2 minutes. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm wrapping
Um,
it up at 9:30 so everyone could respectively, get themselves situated. Because on we don't be having cameras on and stuff like that. So I get it.
okay.
We
All right.
chill, right?
Okay. Well, I'll
So
be quick. I'll be quick. But one thing I wanted to say, and that I want to encourage others, and I want to let you all know that you encourage me because we all know healing is a journey, right? But like I was saying, most times you feel like there's certain things that you can't speak on until you've actually completed that thing, right? You've been through it. Oh, now I can reach back and help somebody else. I'll be the first to tell people what I speak about, either I've come through or I'm currently dealing with. So this whole situation, this whole TikTok conversation, I meant the whole forgiveness thing, that literally, like, that breakthrough just happened last night. And so it's just um I don't know. I think I kind of thank God right now that I was able to share that because I don't think I would have saw forgiveness that way if it didn't happen yesterday, you know? So I wanted to say that, but I just appreciate that we're all in a place to where we are starting to wake up. And I don't mean the woke generation. I think we all are starting to recognize past hurts, pains, and traumas and how that has shaped our lives. And we are starting to realize I deserve a peaceful life. I deserve a happier life. I deserve to let all this stuff go. And I don't mean that in terms of relationship or a career or anything like that. Like just me within myself. I deserve to be in a good space,
you said something
internally.
just now I like you said
Yeah.
something just now. I just grabbed my pen real quick. You said past pain, hurt, and trauma, something like that. Past pain, hurt, and trauma, something like that. You said.
Hmm. Yeah. I said that. Oh gosh. See, I just forgot. You need a screen recorder.
See why we could come back and replay.
You
You
need
see,
a.
sometimes when you get a word, you get something because it's so profound, it's so genuine and pure. But
Oh,
that's why on here you could always come back for a replay because it's something past pain, hurt, and trauma, or
and
something to that
trauma.
effect. You
Yeah. Okay.
said,
I
but
think I remember now. I
it
think I
was
remember
so
now.
profound.
So I think this is what I said. Um, I said that we are all in this kind of waking up, and it's not the woke. generation when it comes to like spirituality or whatever. It's all that we have all lived our lives and come through all these past hurts, pains, and traumas that we're starting to realize that we have shaped our lives because of all of that, you know. And so now we're starting to realize that our our peace, that we deserve the happiness, we deserve the peace, and our peace doesn't come from like a physical place. We are starting to realize that even though I did good for myself, even though I stepped out on this journey, even though it's still been some challenges, but everything is good. I can actually say I'm not wanting for anything, I'm not in a stressful, like horrible situation. I can truly say that I carried all this stuff with me. You know, I actually stepped out with my kids by myself, by yourself, to escape a situation, but we were in survival mode. And now that we have actually gotten to the place of we have made it, so to speak, or we've accomplished so much, now it's just like, dang, I did all that and I was still holding on to all that stuff I thought I let go of. But no, that was the fuel in my car to get me where I am. But now I don't even have to drive that vehicle anymore. I can go to the lot.
Exactly. See, that's the part that I love, like, because it puts that fire under your skin to
Yeah,
run, to move, so you can't stop now. You can't give up now. You can't look back now. You gotta go,
you gotta
right?
go.
But
And
then
you
you
never really
realize you
sat down.
found peace, you found freedom. You're like,
Hmm.
I don't have to keep running anymore.
That
I'm
part.
enjoying my sleep. Let me,
Yes.
it sounds so simple, but I'm enjoying my sleep.
Yes.
I had insomnia. I was not sleeping because I was just hypervigilant.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
So we don't understand what we subject ourselves to until we're dealing with the aftermath, the
Yes.
after effect. See, the things that people don't talk about, the after, processing everything after you've gone through it. Yes, you get out, but after you've left,
Yes.
the things that happen afterwards, I feel like that part of it get downplayed, and that's the most painful, real part of
Hmm.
things, because you
Hmm.
have to process those things. Those are real emotions, real feelings, and a lot of people numb themselves by getting a partner really quickly. A lot of people do these things. So
Hmm.
that part, like, how do you handle when you
That
that
part.
first part, that part right there, that part, that part?
Yes. Yes, because as soon as like we escape whatever the trauma was, um, and whatever situation I looked like, leaving your parents' household, leaving a relationship, leaving a marriage, or whatever. As soon as you get out of that, all you think is, I have freedom now, right? I got peace now. I don't have to deal with that situation anymore. What we don't realize is you're operating still in the trauma from it, because now your mindset is, I got to make sure I don't go back to that. So
Back
you
to that,
don't
right?
really deal with everything that actually happened because you're so focused on getting as far away from it as possible. And then
So
when you
that's where
reach
that fight or flight mode comes in.
right, and then once you reach this place of complete um accomplishment. And I will say that's measured by whatever you feel, whether or not you got married again, whether or not like we got our babies through school, whether or not it's like, okay, I got my own place, I got my own job. It's like 5, 10 years down the road, and I can actually look back and be like, Psh, I wish you would. Like I don't even look my way twice. Like once you get to that place, you feel like, you kind of did something. But it's not until after that, then you sit up here and then you sit with yourself and you're like, dang, I did everything I set out to do. Now what? That's when you start dealing with all that stuff comes back because now all you can do is sit with yourself. You can't run too much no more. You're not a hamster on the wheel, right? Now you're just like,
All
well, what
that
do I do with
misery.
myself now?
Right, right. And that's the thing. It really is evident. You're the only one in the room and you're still miserable. Who's there to really
Hmm.
drive you insane? Who's really the issue? Right?
Hmm.
So, guys, I appreciate you all so much. This was a great discussion. I love having conversations like this because I feel like it opens up more. As we continue to speak, it goes deeper and deeper, and I appreciate these type of conversations. Guys, if you're not following us as well, this is Queen Bee. That's her handle on TikTok, guys. If you're watching this at a later time, because I know a lot of times you guys are not able to watch it right away as it's streamed, and you're watching it on the replay, if you are, don't forget, follow Queen Babe. She's on TikTok. That's her handle. Please, guys, join our conversation. Have fun. Listen, if there's a topic that you guys want me to go live on that particular topic, please do not hesitate. Drop it in the comment section, and I will go live on the topic, bring you more information. If you have questions, do not hesitate to ask the questions. I believe next week I'm gonna have a guest on to share her story, and hers is pretty deep, very emotional, very touching. But I probably have her on next week to come on and share her story, um, where we could really relate to that as well too. And I think probably for the first week of July, I might just open up a Q&A. We just go live and just open up Q&A. You guys just come on, ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them. In the meantime, you guys get to your destination safe. I know that Nikki is on her way going home from work. She just finished work and her phone battery went out. She fell off the chat. But guys, follow Nikki as well on TikTok. Great community of people, great support system. You
Hmm.
won't regret it knowing that you're surrounded by such great people. Again, thank you so much. I can't do this without you. So if you haven't already, go ahead, hit the like button, share this content with anyone that you know, and subscribe to your girl channel. We are growing, y'all. We're almost at 1,000, but I'm so grateful for where I'm at right now. Okay, it's over 700 people that decided that I like what you're doing and I want more of it. I want to listen. So I don't have that much people in my family. So you guys are definitely what my family is made up of. And I really appreciate you guys so much. Have an amazing night. Be blessed. Love you all. Thanks again, Queen Babes. Good night.